Hello, everyone. My name is Sol, and I got Jason here with me. We're doing something special. We're doing 25 Days of Christmas here on Off the Wall. And Jason's going to be joining me for some of the days, but this is day one. Jason, how do you feel being the first guest on 25 Days of Christmas?
I'm really excited. I feel like it's my Christmas. You're giving me a Christmas present early, and I very much appreciate it. I guess this makes me a partridge in a pear tree. Um, so the, but it's really awesome and wonderful, and I can't wait. It's so good.
We're going to be covering the Hannah Waddingham Home for Christmas that's on Apple TV Plus. How did you feel about this show?
To be honest, I really liked it overall. I want to say that I really, really liked it. There are parts which we will get into that I felt was unnecessary that I feel like they probably should have cut or edited a little bit better. But I feel like overall, I feel like it was a really good thing. Honestly, I've been saying it on our channel constantly. I love Apple TV, and I think Apple TV for is the best streaming service on the planet. But you know, it is what it is.
Real
Um,
Apple shill over here.
I know. What am I gonna say? I just love. I love. Honestly, I love that streaming service. It's my favorite one. But yeah, it's. I thought this was really good. I thought there were some really great surprises. Some really great, people. I thought it was good overall, and I'm really excited to talk about it with you.
I loved this special. There's a few moments here and there where it was like, okay, sure, whatever. But they were so quick that they didn't deter from this special at all because Hannah Waddingham is so beautiful and so wonderful and so talented, and her voice, I just loved it. And I loved all the interaction with the Ted Lasso cast. Phil Dunster was great. Nick Mohammed was hilarious. He really was having a fun time with his role for the show. I loved when he goes, "We can't have snow because we wasted all the budget on your dress." She's like, "It was worth it." And I'm like, "Yes, girl. Yes, it was. It was totally worth it.
Oh,
You
she
were
slayed.
fully snatched in that dress. I loved it so much." Speaking of her dresses, she wore three. Which was your favorite?
The red one. The red one by far. It showed off those beautiful, wonderful legs of hers. I mean, honestly, all three dresses, she looked absolutely fabulous and fire in them. But like that red one was just unbelievable. Like
Mm.
wow, wowza. But
Well, as I was saying, with her talent, the music was amazing in this show. The song selection was great. Her band was really good, and we got some guest performers. Got the London Gay Men's Chorus, Leslie Odom Jr., the English National Opera Chorus, this guy from Eurovision. I don't actually remember his name. The Fabulous Lounge Swingers, which, what a name. And
yeah.
Phil Dunster and Luke Evans. But Phil Dunster, I didn't know he could sing. What was your favorite song that she sang? It could be either a solo song or a song that she sang with someone else.
Okay. As we're progressing to the show, my favorite was the one with her and Leslie Odom Jr. I thought that one was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely unbelievable. And then the one with the lounge singers and Phil Dunster was my favorite. Her and Luke Evans killed it. Like
Mm-hmm.
was honestly like top notch. I really wish I didn't have to pick because those three are right here. Um,
Yeah.
I honestly really loved them. The music was spot on. I knew it was going to be spot on because just the way she is, I knew it was going
Mm-hmm.
to be spot on. But like the opening number with the Ted Lasso cast being the Ted Lasso
Yeah.
cast, yeah, the joke with Beard like running in at, like with the
He wants a duet.
he wants to do a that one was great.
I low key thought there was going to be an encore where he actually got his duet. That would have been funny, but he doesn't get his duet. Spoiler.
If I had to pick of the three, I would have to say the Lounge Singers and Phil Dunster because I thought Phil Dunster surprised me by how well he did.
Mm-hmm.
The Lounge Singers, I've heard, like I looked them up when I saw they were going to be on there. Yeah, I knew they were going to slay it, but like, and especially because of the relationship they have with Hannah. But Phil coming out and just absolutely blowing it away was like that just blew my mind. So I honestly think
Right.
sheer awe factor would probably be that one.
I have to agree with you on the Leslie Odom Jr., the Please Come Home for Christmas, just from a musical standpoint. And all of the music was great, but that one, oh, so good. I love those moments when you have two musicians, two vocalists who are in such perfect harmony with each other that like they get excited, because you even have a moment where she's pointing at Leslie and Leslie even breaks and says, yeah, because they just hit a note together in perfect harmony that it was so beautiful that it was one of those just like, you can't help but like have the biggest smile on your face because you just achieved that thing in music that you always try to achieve. And it was so good.
Hey, Broadway, Hollywood, someone please give me a musical with those two in them
Hmm.
playing something where they sing together. I need it now.
And we have some funny moments in the show. What would you say is the best or the funniest moment that you saw in the show?
There's two, um, technically three, but it's two by the same person. Nick Mohammed fucking
So
stole
funny.
fucking stole it when the second he went up in the air and then he goes, "Hello, I'm still here." Like I was just like I was losing it. I was really enjoying myself. He has
And
I've
I like
watched,
to headcanon think
yeah,
that he was there the whole time, even though I know he wasn't.
right.
But no, he was stuck up there
And
the whole
especially
time,
when
just
she go
enjoying the
es
show.
especially when she's like, "Hello, I'm still up here. Can someone let me down? Hello?" And then Hannah goes like, "Stage director, hello," calls out to the stage director, goes like, "Can we bring the," and you think that they're gonna lower him, but it's actually they're lowering the curtain to cover him so
Yeah.
he won't be seen, which I thought was great. But honestly, just because I love him as a comedian, I gotta go with Brett's because it's like the voice of BG just like coming out of nowhere, and then he's laying there in a
That
hot
she
tub.
calls him BG
I
too.
know, right? Which I was like, it was great. And he's laying there in a hot tub, just like spread out like this. And I was just absolutely loving it. It was perfect. It was great. I'll go back to my spoiler alert from earlier, where she goes into her red dress and then jumps into the hot tub with the red dress.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that would have made it like even like it was a 10 for me, but it would have pushed it to an 11 was be is they would have made a joke about him being naked in the hot tub, or if he would have had some sort of outfit that would have like done something, dress or something. It doesn't matter what, but like I feel like it's just they needed to make us a comment on the fact that he was not clothed or something or some sort
Yeah.
of clothing with him. But yeah,
It's definitely Brett in the hot tub for me. And especially coming after the dud of her going to change her outfit and then with Juno Temple. And that was a dud kind
dud,
of skit there.
dud.
So then when you go to a skit that she does with Brett Goldstein and he's just in a hot tub and he's like, oh yeah, I wrote it in your, what is it called? Writer or I forget
Your
the
rider, yeah, yeah,
yeah, the
right.
contract goes, "Oh, I told them you have to have a hot tub in your rider." And so he's just there chilling, and then the way they drink their champagne was hilarious. And he's like, "Oh, who's on stage?" And she's like, like,
And then
but
she runs
that,
out.
yeah, the fact that
Oh,
she
but
goes in
also
with
I
her
would have to
dress
do it
too.
when she gets out of the tub and it clings to the back of and you saw the beautifulness. It's more of her hotness. I'm sorry. I know it's shameful that I'm commenting on this gorgeous, this very
Hey,
super talented woman's
she's hot.
attractiveness, but she's
She's
fine
hot.
as all get out, and I love her to death. And
And then
yet
she changes into a third dress that like her boobs look fantastic in. Like she's just gorgeous.
yep, yep.
We have some surprising moments. You've mentioned a little bit already. I mentioned is my most surprising is Phil Dunster can sing.
I know, right?
What? And then like my less surprising but still a little wow was her going opera at the very end, because like I knew she could, I knew her background, but the fact that she does it anyways at the end, I was like, oh wow. But any of surprising or wow moments for you?
One of the things I absolutely loved about it, I don't know if it was surprising or well, but the parents' reaction when before she does the shout out to her parents was really it was really really touching. Her dad crying, you could see her dad was tearing at the very end
Mm-hmm.
of the song. I loved every time they mentioned her little girl. I loved how it was shot from the back of her head, so they never showed her face. So you
Yeah.
still don't know who it is. So it's protecting the privacy of the little girl. And my wife and I were even talking about the fact is that more than likely, I bet her little girl even doesn't have the name of Waddingham. It's probably it goes
Mm.
by her partner, the dad's name or something, just to protect her anonymity even more. The BG spot I was not expecting, but I really, really enjoyed it. But Phil Dunster being a beautiful singer, just wow.
Yeah.
That was a wowza moment where I was like, what? Who knew that Jamie Tart could sing his ass off like
Right.
that?
And the fact too that unlike Cristo Fernandez, who plays oh my god, I just forgot his name. The Mexican.
Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas, there we go. Cristo Fernandez was a professional football player before he played uh, this character in the show. Phil Dunster was not. But growing up in England, he's probably played a lot of soccer. So the fact that he has the skill to be able to, because they talked about how competitive they got about shooting on goal and wanting to do their own stunts when it came to playing the games because they wanted to be as accurate as possible and wanted to just have fun doing those things. So the fact that he could make those amazing shots and then also as a singer on top of being a great actor as well and all this, it's just like, okay, what else can you do?
Seriously, like, and this is the thing where I wonder there's been talk and speculation about Ted Lasso season 4 or like a spin-off series. And I'm sorry, you got to be able, if they haven't locked them down already, they need to lock them down because I don't think you're going to get, Toheeb, Jimbo, like all the actors that were in that show are very sought after now. But like Brett Goldstein is in high demand. His comedy is straight up killing it. His writing is straight up killing it. Go watch our earlier talk about shrinking when you're talking about like Brett Goldstein and his producer powers and creator powers. But like you need to lock these actors down, like to get them because they're in such high demand now. And
Yeah.
Phil Dunster showing off his musical chops is just going to make it even better,
Yeah.
worse.
And you spoke a little bit to it, but going into the most heartfelt scene is that moment when she reveals to everyone why they're there at the London Coliseum, that why she's performing in that theater. And it's because her mom performed there. For 30 years, she was part of the English National Opera Chorus, and she was a mezzo. And Hannah spent a lot of time sitting in that booth watching her mother sing. And then now her daughter is sitting in the same booth watching her mother sing. And she sings Oh Holy Night. And you talked about her father at the end tearing up. The only thing with that performance, it's so beautiful. And then, like, even afterwards, tearing up. And I was like, I'm tearing up a little bit too. But then at the same time, anytime I hear Oh Holy Night, I think of Eric Cartman's rendition. So I want to know if does Eric Cartman's rendition of Oh Holy Night, Jesus was born, so I get presents. Thank you, Jesus, for being born. Do you think that when you hear that song?
Yes, hardcore. Like honestly, I'm not a fan of "Oh Holy Night." I used to sing it a lot in choir when I was in choir and stuff, and it was one of those that I sang it a lot. It's never been one of my favorite songs, but I do like it. But it's not one of my favorites. I do think of all the songs that were done, it was to me the weakest. It's no, I wouldn't say that. It's the second
It was the
weakest to
most
me,
traditional
but
because
it's the
the
most
rest of
traditional.
them were
Yeah.
jazzed up.
Yeah, and I like the more jazzier, rockier numbers, minus one. I think of all the performances, I think it's one of the lower ones,
It
but
was
that's
still
just
very
because
good.
the all the performances are way up here.
So, you have any final thoughts on this show, the performances, anything?
So one thing I've been watching during this whole part is on HBO Max. There's this really awesome documentary about Little Richard. One of the things that was brought up about it was they were discussing the history of rock and roll, especially as it pertains to people of color. And I'm a huge fan of Little Richard. To me, Little Richard, Chuck Berry are my favorite rockers of the 50s, and I think that they're considered to me the kings of rock. And I think the only reason why it's Elvis Presley was because it's white and racism of the 50s and 60s. And
And he
again,
stole a lot of black
and
people
right,
music.
he didn't write his own stuff. All his music was stolen from people of color. And one of the things that is brought up during the documentary is the fact that it was brought up by is stolen by people of color. And while I absolutely love Run Run Rudolph, of holiday musical numbers, it's my one of my all-time favorites. The one with her, Hannah and the guy from Eurovision, was not a fan of it. One, he was doing it overly over the top, which was causing her to go over the top. And Hannah is fabulous. Bluesy rock is not something I would put with her. She sees more content, and I've seen her with her old school pop stuff, and I think it was one of the least performances up to the Juno Temple scene. I think were like my least favorite, but overall, like it was still pretty great. Yeah.
I mean, that
Do you
air
have a
guitar though, that air
yeah?
guitar solo was
I mean,
great.
come on. Can she be hotter? Like, sweet Jesus, can she be hotter? Like, but like, it's like, I'm sorry. I know it's so sexist, and just feel like such a man right now because I'm constantly commenting on this like woman who like is so freaking unbelievably talented, and yet I'm constantly talking about her looks. But like, but the fact is, it's like she is so unbelievably talented and wonderful. And I honestly, it would be like a dream to meet her in person, just so I could be like, you are fucking unbelievable. So yeah,
I think both of us really liked this
go watch
Christmas
it.
special. Ted Lasso shows up at the end too as the cab driver, which was, I was like, oh, is he not going to show up? But he did at the end. But we really enjoyed this. If you have Apple TV Plus, definitely check this out. I told my parents that we're watching it later tonight. I'm going to watch it again because I want them to see this and just enjoy it. It's very Christmassy, it's very joyful, it's very happy. So, this is one that you can either watch with your full attention or have it in the background as you're cleaning up for Christmas time, whatever time that you want to watch this thing. Because we know it's the holidays, you have stuff to get ready around the house for the guests that come around. I'm Sol. That's Jason. This is day one of the 25 days of Christmas. Keep joining us every day. We're going to keep this train rolling, but we'll see you tomorrow.